Hello, everybody, and welcome to this week's edition of Beyond Sports Podcast, where the three of us are going to BS about sports. There's no Tim.
No Tim today.
Tim's a sleepy one.
Yeah. The ship is captainless. There's nobody to keep us on track.
We're in
Who
trouble.
knows where this is going to go?
This could be an hour and a half of Chief Super Bowl talk.
This could be an hour and a half of Chief. I mean, you never, it could be bad. Look, we're lucky there's no actual football games to talk about, or else we wouldn't mention like the score or anything. We would just like start talking about random plays.
Yeah, that's exactly what would happen.
Zero context as to what's happening. Okay. I mean, in this championship offseason, we could again reflect on the championship year that we had and the Mahomes and the things, if there is anything. We don't have to, again.
I feel like at this point it's not quite time to move on, but it's time to start thinking about next year.
Yeah, I mean, and
I know we're fans. We can reflect on it the entire off season. And
True.
Then,
that's a good point.
The celebration all off season. Like,
I mean, it got real for us this week. We cut Frank Clark.
True.
It did.
Frank Clark did.
Maybe we should use this time then.
You are not gonna bring back Orlando Brown. Maybe he goes out and finds out that he's not worth as much.
Market isn't. Although I think
I've heard the Bears are willing to overpay for him,
and the Bears maybe should.
Yeah, I've heard the Broncos are too.
He's like fits the Bears scheme, I think, a lot better. So I wouldn't blame him for doing that.
No, absolutely wish both of them success wherever they go.
I miss the heck out of them.
Yeah. Let's share our favorite Frank Clark moment.
Frank Clark, let's take this time instead, to reflect on our favorite Frank Clark moments. Huh?
I bet they were in the postseason.
They were all in the postseason.
Absolutely.
That man's contract was worth it purely from what he gave us.
Worth its weight in gold in the postseason.
His stats were pretty great. I mean, compared to his regular season stats, are mind blowing.
Yeah, I mean,
like he's a different player. He's just a different player in the playoffs.
Yeah.
I had his stats someplace.
I know postseason, we're talking a guy who had 13 and a half postseason sacks, good for third all time.
Here we go.
First amongst active players. So with the Chiefs, 10 of those sacks, I want to say.
Yeah, let's see. During his playoffs, all right. He's got 32 tackles, 14 tackles for losses, and 10 and a half sacks in 12 games. Like 14 tackles for losses,
dude
with 10 and a half sacks in 12 games.
That's
like fucking
absurd.
That's yes. And then when you compare him to his regular season, right? Let's see, in 55 regular season games, he had 35 tackles for losses and 23 and a half sacks.
Yeah.
Very pedestrian numbers. Very pedestrian.
Dude, the greats come out when the lights are at their brightest.
Yeah, man.
It's true in every sport. I think that, I just think maybe that was who Frank Clark was. He knew he used the regular season as a conditioning plan, and in the playoffs he unleashed the beast.
Apparently, man.
I think the lack of career regular season numbers though is what's going to keep him out of the Hall of Fame.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, he's not a Hall of Fame player because he didn't do it consistently. Like he was great in the
a guy who he's still got some good football left in him. If he goes to the right situation and gets back to the playoffs and continues to rise on that postseason leaderboard, I think that we're talking Eli Manning, Eli Manning-esque.
I mean,
I think you got to compare him against his peers in the same era, and
I think
like you compare him against people like Von Miller.
right.
I mean, but I'm saying if you put his playoffs stats into consideration as part of the game of football, I mean, that's
right. It's part of it.
If he can get to like number 1 all time, and that I think that he at least is a part of the conversation. He'd probably, I'm not saying first ballot.
Maybe if he can get to number 1.
Yeah, he's going to have to continue rising upon that board. I don't think being at third all time is going to get you there.
Yeah.
And like
I think if he wants that, he's going to have to be smart and sign with the right team.
Yeah, absolutely. He's going to have to go to the right situation.
Come on back. I mean, I know he's not gonna, but we're ready to move on to, I guess, right? Like,
I mean, it's tough, but just know that this is the way it's going to be. Brett Veach is not going to keep.
Dude, I know. I'm already sad that Snead is going to be with us for like 1 more year, probably, right? Like that. This is going to be Snead's last year coming up. I'm already preparing for it. Stop.
We'll see, because he is kind of a unicorn corner. Like he can do things that most other cornerbacks cannot.
Agreed. But we did find 3 really good corners in the same draft. Yeah. And although I don't think any of them can quite do the things Snead can, they can all hit pretty well. Like all of our guys can tackle surprisingly well. Like we really did go out and find guys who could corners that could close and like make tackles, and that's
because we needed
very
that.
underrated, right? Like,
yeah, McDuffie's a monster as far as tackling goes. Yeah. He's a really good tackler.
Yeah, man, and a great coverage guy too. Like they,
future's good.
But yeah, Frank. I mean, I don't think he's gonna be a Hall of Famer. Maybe a Chiefs Hall of Famer.
I think he has an outside shot.
Oh, I think Frank is in the Ring of Honor for sure.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, for what he did for us, man. Okay, so I think one of his most memorable things for me is, I believe, in that first playoff run, or the first Super Bowl run, right? His first playoff run with us. He closed out like every game with a sack.
Every single game.
He, like, the last time the team had the ball, it was them getting sacked.
Yeah.
By Frank Clark. And I mean, by that time in the game, I was kind of done and over with, but he made it, he just sealed up the deal. It's cool, right?
Dude. I loved it. I'm going after the Bengals game this year. During that Bengals game, the way he came out there and then like how hyped he was and things he was saying.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I mean, it was really.
He got a sack pretty early.
Which I could see myself finding a quote and putting it up on the screen somewhere. So
it was really just kind of this whole postseason for me.
Yeah.
Like he really seemed to be the spiritual leader of our defense.
Yeah, I mean, I think Chris Jones was, if you watch like the mic up, Chris Jones is the leader, but yeah, Frank Clark is like
he's the hype man. Like
he is. You're right. Yeah, he is kind of the hype man. Like,
yeah,
Chris Jones is the
that's gonna be a big thing that we miss.
Parent and Frank. Yeah, I mean, maybe we've got a guy who can step up and take that place, right? Perhaps. Curious George. I mean, sorry, Furious George.
Furious, yeah. And I mean, we'll also see what comes out of this draft. Obviously, you're not going to let Frank Clark go and not do something in free agency or the draft.
Or in the draft, yeah. And is it a somewhat deep draft for pass rushers?
I feel like it's always considered
not really
that way
for any position this year.
Tight end, I know it is for tight end.
Except tight end, yeah.
Tight end, yeah. I know that. But yeah, I don't. Other than that, okay, yeah. Now we can move on from the Chiefs. We're gonna come back, but we'll move on now.
Yeah, I mean, what we'll say is, yet again, thank you, Frank Clark. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Best of luck.
Frank, the shark, right?
The shark, man, like always.
The fin and the whatnot.
Dude will always be beloved by Kansas City.
Yeah.
He could go to the Raiders and get a fucking standing ovation coming out of the tunnel. Just don't do that, please.
Just don't. Please don't.
Don't do that, but
don't go in division.
Fans will cheer you at least once. You're into first time come back.
Don't go in division. Don't do that.
You ready to go to the
ready to actually
this
talk
week's news.
This week's news. The thing that we're actually here to do.
The reason we're actually here wasn't to talk
into it.
about the Chiefs, but Frank Clark was this week, so that was this week's news too.
That did
But
happen.
more of this week's news.
Yeah.
Hey everybody, welcome to Beyond Sports Podcast. Yes, about sports.
We missed
This
you,
week.
Tim.
The biggest thing to happen actually was not with the Chiefs. It was with the Panthers and the Bears.
Yeah, dude. Bears getting a haul.
Yeah, man.
For that first overall pick.
Bears trade the first overall pick to the Panthers and get the Panthers' first pick this year. So they move back essentially 8 spots to number 9. They move back to number 9 this year. They get the Panthers' first pick next year.
Yep.
Their second pick this year.
Which I believe they got from the 49ers from the Christian McCaffrey trade because it's pick like 60.
Right. Okay.
61 around there.
And then their second pick 2 years from now, right?
Like yes.
Not next year. Not
next year, 2025.
2025.
And let's not forget probably my favorite part of this haul. DJ Moore.
A weapon for
your quarterback.
A weapon for your quarterback.
So I'm saying they're going to make a big splash in free agency, go for an Orlando Brown. They're going to overpay, recklessly overpay.
Not reckless. They are going to
protect you. No, it's definitely not reckless, but the money they're willing to spend might be.
I'll be sad to see Orlando go because, even though he's not, I understand why we would not pay him like he's like the best left tackle in the league.
Yeah.
But I also
can see why he wants to be.
Understand him going and getting that bag from Chicago. And Chicago, I do understand Chicago saying we need a guy who we know can protect our quarterback.
I love where where the Bears are headed, because if they can pull off the Orlando Brown signing and with the 9th pick, they could theoretically have their pick of the litter at offensive lineman.
Right.
They need help along that line. That's probably their biggest area of need. You have Claypool.
They've got to protect Justin Fields.
But now you've got
now you've got 3 solid receivers. You got Mooney,
now you don't have
Claypool.
You don't have to waste a pick on getting a receiver because you got him. You don't have to waste a pick on a left tackle, the most important part of the line.
You're a fucking cat, dude. I love it.
Your left tackle, right? The most important part of your line. You would take care of that. And now you can spend your draft, not just building up your offensive line, but your defense, because you traded that away. So you desperately need to get some of that back. And they're great with cap space right now, right? They've got them.
Yeah, they have the most cap space in the league.
The Bears are my God, Bears, you are in the best position a team has maybe ever been in.
Yeah,
I was talking to one of my friends who's pretty smart football guy. He's the one that he used to make a living just winning fantasy every year.
Oh wow!
Okay. He would enter a ton of leagues and just win them all.
Great.
But he's a big Bears guy, and he's also cynical as fuck about everything the Bears do, and he is over the moon about what happened.
How could you not be? I mean,
yeah, the Bears may have just altered their future forever with
if
this.
They can land these picks where they need to be, because I think
hit on these picks.
You have to hit on these picks, at least the first rounders. But
yeah, dude, you still need to develop Justin Fields.
Absolutely, more. But you are in a good position right now because he's Herbert coming back at running back, at tailback. He had a great year last year before getting hurt. Mooney being slotted into where he belongs, not as a number 1.
Not as a number 1, but a solid number 2 could be.
Claypool's a solid situational receiver.
2 or a slot.
3. And then DJ Moore, a bona fide.
Dude,
I hope they can make Claypool do something, because that trade still looks stupid.
It does, but it's right now you're seeing kind of the big picture.
Some pieces for your guy.
A second for if that dude can be a solid number 2.
I mean, Claypool isn't far removed, and you have to take the situation comes into play with Claypool and with the Steelers. A lot of that was he had a big year the last year. Roethlisberger could throw the ball downfield.
Mm-hmm.
He had a huge year, and then after that, he was kind of turned into what an after the catch receiver, and I don't think that he's necessarily that.
I think he's a great number 3 for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
I do. I really think it's the Bears are in a great spot on the in their wide receiver room.
Yeah. They're not in panic mode.
Dude, they're in the best spot I've seen the team in a long time. Like,
and what they only traded down to what, number 6?
9.
Yeah. They moved back 8 spots.
Dude. Still in the top 10.
And 4, like at least 4 of those are going to be quarterbacks.
So
yeah.
I think you can go. You'll probably be able to find a guy, to help fill out your line or in defense, like a pretty sure thing. Like most of the guys that you missed that high in the draft are quarterbacks, right?
Yeah, we're getting free agents.
I'm not saying there isn't busts at other spots in the draft that high, but historically, when you look back, a lot of the busts that go within those top 10 are quarterbacks. A lot of those guys, all those other guys are pretty sure things. Like,
because quarterback's the most likely position to reach for.
You have to be.
Yeah, you're more willing to reach for a quarterback than a tackle prospect.
And you got to a lot of times, right?
So. But offensive line prospects are usually pretty, especially tackles, are usually pretty surefire.
Yes.
Yeah, you have a lot more success than fail there. Like, it's not every time you're going to see a Luke Jokel.
Yeah, like. Man, that was
had
weird.
To throw that out there, man.
I can't believe you're damn, dude. And we took Fish at number 2, and
we took Fish at
1 to pass on Jokel.
And then the Lane Johnson was also in that draft at 4.
At first it was. I mean, okay, maybe we should have taken Lane, but
in a redraft we take Lane Johnson.
Yeah, but think about this, dude. I went from having to watch both of my teams pick in the top 5 of the draft to both playing in the Super Bowl,
winning the Super Bowl, and then
both have won one since then. Both have played in one. One's won 2.
Yeah, they've both won and lost a Super Bowl since then.
Yeah,
and then played each other. Another one. It's anyways. Crazy. Yeah. Okay. So now that we've covered the Bears and their side of it, the question is, what about the Panthers?
It's
Bryce Young.
It seems like CJ Stroud. From what I've heard, Frank Reich prefers CJ Stroud. Ownership prefers Bryce Young. So right now, but I feel as though they're going to go CJ Stroud.
Who's the short one?
Bryce,
yeah.
CJ is the one who tore up the combine.
Out of the top 4 quarterbacks in this class, I feel like Bryce Young is the one that's the most likely to be a bust.
But okay.
Don't take Will Levis. I think Levi is very Levis. I think he's very bust potential as well. He is just.
I just think Bryce Young is a surefire bust.
Will Levis looks like he's going to play. He's going to be on the bench in the NFL for the next 15 years. He seems like he could be that good.
He is not impressive in college at any year. They are literally just saying this dude looks like a quarterback that should be good. That's what a lot of it seems to be.
I think CJ Stroud is probably the best bet.
I think he's the best day one guy, but I think Anthony Richardson's sneakily going to be the best quarterback in this draft
if he lands with the right team. Yeah.
I
think he just seems to be the most naturally talented.
I love him at the Detroit Lions spot, like I mentioned last week. You've mentioned
he's definitely the most talented, naturally gifted athlete.
I hate him going to Houston,
but it's because man, I don't know. We'll see what D'Amico can do with that franchise.
We'll see what D'Amico can do, and we'll also see what they do. All these teams do in free agency, because I don't think outside CJ Stroud, and I think Bryce Young will go in as a day 1 starter.
I saw a couple drafts, even post combine, that had the Lions getting him with the number 18 pick, Anthony Richardson.
Yeah,
because they've got the 7, I think, and the 18.
Yeah, and I mean,
dude, the Lions would be such a great landing spot for him.
They really would. I mean, they got a quarterback in place for at least a year that he can learn from. Jared Goff has a lot of experience in this league. Love him or hate the guy. He's navigated his team to a Super Bowl.
Jared Goff.
He's seen everything.
Yeah,
he's on his Alex Smith tour.
Now. He's played in a Jeff Fisher system, and then he went to a Sean McVay. Now he's with Dan Campbell, I love what Dan Campbell is doing there.
Yeah, he's finally got a solid organization or a stable situation around him. Maybe. I mean, it's been a year, right? So let's see.
Yeah, 2 years there. So
2 years. It's been
yeah.
2 years.
Yeah, he's completed his second year.
Hey, stability.
Yeah.
And then
short of getting to the playoffs, they couldn't have ended on a higher note, like beating Green Bay to knock them out of the playoffs.
And it wasn't you. They started a little slower than they should have. They should have come out, but.
And I think they should be going they're going like this, right?
Yeah,
I
think.
But it's the Detroit
If Aaron Rodgers
Lions,
leaves, I think they're a lock to win the North.
Let's see what the Bears do.
Yeah, I mean, the Vikings defense was very leaky last year, so.
Hey, Bears are in a prime position to go front, worst to first.
Bears,
they could.
Bears, yeah, the Lions could win that. I mean, the Vikings could repeat. Who knows, man? Like, it's all up in the air. Like, let's see.
Don't forget when Favre left, Rodgers came in and just lit that shit up. I think Jordan Love could do the same. We could have a good division in the North.
I mean, man, what's the chances of the Packers hitting 3 times in a row? Like just.
I know.
The thought of that makes me sick.
Anyways, enough shitting on Green Bay for some. I
don't even hate Green Bay. I don't. But
maybe should that be our next? Should we go into Green Bay?
I've always hated Green Bay.
Yeah, let's go into the Rodgers saga.
I'm not hateful on Green Bay. They beat us in Super Bowl 1. But
I always knew Brett Favre was a piece of shit.
Well, okay, but I'm not going to tear down the rest of the organization. Would have helped if they would have beaten Denver in the Super Bowl in '98. Like, that would have gone a long way.
That's when I knew Favre was a piece of shit.
Like, what? You lost to John Elway? Everyone else could beat him in a Super Bowl. Like, come on, man.
And who was the quarterback for the Falcons? Chandler or whatever?
It's the Falcons. I don't expect
Chandler, yeah, fuck that guy too.
I don't expect anything out of them. They're the Falcons.
I had high
Green Bay, come on. You've got a shot.
Yeah.
Hey, maybe Jordan Love, you've got yourself another another Hall of Fame quarterback who wins some MVPs and 1 Super Bowl. And
maybe he leads you to 2. Maybe you go back to lead you to 2 Super Bowl things, but lose 1, win 1.
That's not bad.
Yeah. Because at this rate, you have to project that he's going to at least play Mahomes in a Super Bowl, so we have to count that one a loss.
Got that? Yeah, that one you'll probably lose. You better hope.
I like that all these teams are getting super aggressive now because they realize they have to.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
you've probably got like, at least on the AFC side, 3 or 4 teams pulling away from everyone else.
Yeah.
Like, really, like distancing themselves in terms of talent.
Yeah.
And then over on the NFC side, I mean, you've got the Eagles.
I mean, you've got
the Niners.
And the Niners.
And the Niners.
Yeah.
Niners are a powerhouse out there.
I just don't believe in the Niners until they get a quarterback.
I don't believe in them deep. But I think they're still a playoff team.
Yeah, they're a playoff team. Yeah,
but they're a team that can make a run.
They're not a threat to win a Super Bowl. I don't think.
You don't think? I think
they would have to get like a really lucky draw against a bad AFC opponent.
I mean, you might be right. Anyway, the Packers, right? Their situation, right? Do we want to do the Rodgers saga? I know that's quite far down on the list, but we were talking.
Yeah. Let's do it. We're talking about it's natural.
It looks like Aaron Rodgers to the Jets, probably.
It looks like Aaron Rodgers' time as a Packers over.
Definitely, right?
I think he's gonna say no. I'm staying just to fuck him. Because I don't think I have a feeling he doesn't give a shit about this season.
At that point,
the only reason he's not retiring is so he doesn't have to share the stage with Brady at the Hall of Fame.
No, that might be right. You don't want to share the stage. You don't want to do that. But I don't know, man.
Either way, I think this is for sure Brett Favre's last year. And
Brett Favre?
Or sorry, Aaron Rodgers.
Same thing.
To the Jets?
Yeah, same.
I mean, he's not going to go to the Jets for a year.
Show his penis and he run out of town.
Yeah.
I don't think
But I mean, do we think Kirk Cousins has more than 1 year left?
He is. He's going to go to New York, show his dick to Mina Kimes, and fucking that'll be the end of it.
No, then he'll get to go play for the Vikings for 2 years.
Yeah, man.
Only fair.
Yeah. And Kirk Cousins.
They probably are going to be done with Kirk Cousins at the end of next year.
I mean, he'll throw for 4,800 yards, like 34 touchdowns, 12 interceptions.
And then, like, either barely miss
out.
the playoffs or lose in the first round or something like that, right? Like, and they'll be done with Kirk Cousins, and man. Okay, but the Packers, what their GM, about the Aaron Rodgers thing came out and said, I don't know how much he meant to say, but he said a lot.
Their team president, sorry.
Oh, the interview with the girls basketball.
Because it was the team president, right? Not the GM.
Oh, sorry, the team president.
It was even above him.
The guy, yeah, right.
Mark Murphy.
Yes, Mark Murphy. And there, when they asked him if Aaron Rodgers was going to be back next year, he's like, well, I mean, he definitely could be, right? We'd love to have him. He's the 4-time MVP, right? Who wouldn't want him? If things don't work how we think, or like, if it doesn't go how we think, or something like that.
If things don't work out to be ideal.
Well,
he said that it would not be ideal. I'm saying.
Yeah.
Did he straight up say it would not be ideal? I mean,
like
I thought he was trying to kind of still like.
It was something to the effect like, well, if things don't work out the way we want,
the way we plan, yeah.
Like,
you're like, wait, what? Hold on. What do you mean if things don't work out how you plan? Did you mean to say if things did? You know what? Never mind. So yeah, and I mean the Jets met up with him, right? Woody Johnson flew out to California to meet up with Aaron and have their all-nighter.
I don't think it's going to go well for him in New York.
Okay,
his bullshit is not going to fly with the press there. It's just not. Like, I mean, because unlike in Green Bay where he's worshipped, like the New York press doesn't give a shit, and they're going to ask follow-up questions.
Let's talk about some news that actually has happened.
Okay, yeah.
And player movement. Jalen Ramsey has been traded to the Miami Dolphins for a 3rd-round pick and Hunter Long.
Some tight end.
Yeah.
Tight end. A 3rd-round pick and an afterthought.
Yeah, dude, that's
Mr. Long, use that put that in your back pocket. Use that as motivation. But
listen, congratulations to the Rams. They sold their soul and got the ring.
And
but now the dark days are coming. The dark days are coming.
The Rams, look, you did it. Like, you did it. You won you got the ring. You did what you needed to do. Now you got to take your medicine and you got to rebuild.
Yeah.
Just going to have to rebuild, man.
It's how it's going to be. You're going to be able to hold on for potential playoff fighting season this year with Matthew Stafford coming back, but man, it doesn't look good.
Matthew Stafford is heavily rumored to be on the trading block.
Well, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, I've heard that Allen Robinson might be getting.
Look, I'm not one to tell him
with us a couple times.
I'm not one to tell a man his business, and I don't know how much Matthew Stafford is going to get paid this year. I figure it might be a lot.
He got paid after that Super Bowl,
but he could retire at any time, and I would not blame that man one bit.
No, I wouldn't blame him either.
He could. He's like, you know what? I got the ring. I did the thing that people were like, you can't do it, and he did it.
Yeah. I don't know if you can go get traded to another NFC contender and try and peel another one. That'd be the greatest heist in history,
dude. Wouldn't
you think Matthew Stafford to the Raiders if he becomes available? It makes the most sense.
Ooh. I don't like that. I like that.
It makes too much sense. Jesus,
I know, right? I like that for the Raiders, but not
for.
Yeah.
That's the one that if that were to come to fruition, the Raiders.
Going to Devontae. Ugh.
Yeah.
No.
We know he can. We know he can throw to a fucking big receiver.
Yeah, I mean, last year I think his issue was kind of forcing it to his one wide receiver.
Now, well, does he survive his first encounter with Chris Jones? Probably not.
And man, like there are some ball hawks in our conference, in our division.
Yeah.
Does he survive you know,
real
Patrick
fucking killers.
Surtain and Asante Samuel Jr. and like even
Well,
our
not the
young
pass rushers in our division. Fucking Chris
yeah,
Jones, Max Crosby, Khalil
Well, that's on
Mack.
it. That'd be on the Raiders.
he'd be with Max Crosby. But,
Oh, right. Yeah.
And but
damn
yeah,
it.
yeah.
there are
Chris
some
Jones,
QB
Khalil
there's some
Mack.
QB eaters, man. There's some So
Oh, but yeah, Jalen
Anyway,
Ramsey.
I am pretty sure that Jalen Ramsey is not as advertised anymore.
No, I
And
mean
with cornerbacks,
Yeah.
the fall off the cliff is sudden.
sometimes.
but
And
here's the thing:
I think
that Finn's secondary is scary.
already stacked. Like
Those
he doesn't
corners are outrageous with him and fucking Xavier Howard.
Xavier Howard, yeah.
Xavier Howard, you have
dude,
two of the highest paid safeties in the league back there.
exactly. Like he doesn't have to be the number one corner anymore.
And they
Yeah.
did
He
that,
can
and
be
they made the trade for Bradley Chubb at the end of the season.
So like I do agree that they may have overpaid for him and that he's not gonna get you the production that you would want from like a 25 mil a year guy.
And then they
But
fully guarantee his first 2 years.
You're like, will that guy maybe just put us over the edge, right? Like get it so we have that defense that is just insane to try to handle. And it might get them to where they want to be. Like you may not get that full production out of him, but he might put your team in that your defense.
Everything else should be on the offensive line if you're the Dolphins. Like you should get the strongest the best offensive linemen that you can afford and put them right up front.
Dude, you
have a good start. Just get a couple more offensive linemen.
Yeah, why aren't they going?
They're another one that could make an offer for Orlando.
Yeah,
they could, but I mean, then you're talking.
Don't they have a left tackle?
They have Terrell Armstead. They signed last year, so I mean, then you're asking a guy who's better than him to move to right tackle.
That's true. You could maybe try. Or Orlando's not going to go. Is not going to move.
If Orlando goes to right tackle somewhere else, I'm going to scream.
Yeah,
you better not do that shit.
Okay, we successfully went back to the Chiefs, and now maybe
that's how I know we're done with the topic. I learned that we're done with the topic when the Chiefs.
I think Ramsey for a third. I thought maybe I
think it's pretty even trade.
Rams could have. I thought
Rams could have probably gotten more.
It was way better for the Rams than people think it was.
The salary cap savings is
it clears so much cap.
The cap is nice. They kind of had to do it.
When you're that high over the cap, anything helps.
I think it was good for the Finns as well. Like I think,
I like it. I mean, it makes them an even better football team because you get a great player on that side, and you just lost Byron Jones too. Because I mean, he made it obvious that he can't run or jump, so they released him. So now you've replaced him with Jalen Ramsey.
Yep.
So,
okay. And then the re-signings and the tags and
the tags and the players that did not get the tag that we expected to get the tag.
Orlando.
All right, so the obvious one here that we got to talk about is Lamar Jackson.
Lamar, yeah,
absolutely.
That should really just be the topic with.
So Sneaky, you weren't here when I was telling Sam what I would do in this situation, because he got the transition tag placed on him, so any team can negotiate with him. But if the Ravens don't match, that team gives up 2 first-round picks to acquire him.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm the Pittsburgh Steelers, yes, I drafted Kenny Pickett last year. No, I'm not overly thrilled with Kenny Pickett. Let's be realistic. They can't be shitting
he's
their pants
not
out
going to
of
be Lamar Jackson.
They're not shitting their pants out in excitement for him. But if I'm the Pittsburgh Steelers, I see this opportunity to either get a MVP winning quarterback from my division rival for 2 first-round picks when we just saw Deshaun Watson go for 3 first, Russell Wilson go for 2 first, multiple seconds, and players. I'm going to offer him $235 million fully guaranteed and wait and see. Because now if Baltimore matches that, they're on the hook for $235 million guaranteed.
Yeah, but if you make that offer, you have to tender that offer. Like, you can't take it back.
Yeah, but now you're taking an MVP from your rival.
I'm taking the MVP from my rival and setting them back because they're getting 2 first-round picks. Yeah, but
that'd be some nasty work.
Yeah, but they're losing a lot out of that situation.
But the number one, I don't think anybody's going to give Lamar an offer it would have happened. Number two, I don't think he's going to play on that tag. I think he's going to sit this season out. There's no way he comes back and plays with no future security for less than what Danny Dimes is making.
Yeah, it's absolutely insulting.
There's no fucking way.
That is fucking insulting.
Yeah, I mean, I think
the dude's an MVP, a unanimous
100% sit.
The dude, right now, the dude is seen like, and I don't know if no teams are interested in him. Right?
Yeah, somebody's got to be.
It's insane that no one would be interested. That's
all these teams that need quarterbacks,
and nobody is
hour of that news coming out that he has a non-restricted tag.
Multiple
teams coming out saying we're not going to do it.
Right.
But who's saying okay? Yeah, like I mean, yeah, the Chiefs aren't going to do that. That's one team. The Eagles probably aren't going to do that. That's two. Now we have multiple teams. The 49ers.
No, these were these are like specifically teams that need quarterbacks.
Needed quarterbacks. Like the Panthers did it right. I mean, this was
within
before
an hour.
Traded.
The Falcons, the Panthers, the Texans.
But
you look at some of those teams and you're like, we saw Deshaun Watson when he was with the Texans and they went 4-12, right? So their team is devoid of talent, even with a great quarterback. So why would they give up 2 first-round picks to acquire a great quarterback? You know, like their timeline suggests to get a young.
You're going to be using one of those picks you're going to be using this pick for a quarterback anyway.
Listen, multiple of them may not do it, but it only takes one to do it.
I know, yeah. And
We've talked about him earlier.
The other thing is, like, I don't think it really takes any collusion on the other owner's part to know that giving a dude $250 million guaranteed is just not a good idea.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to get
not a good business decision.
He's not going to get the fully guaranteed thing like Deshaun Watson got.
It was that's a unicorn deal. The Browns
teams want to. They
everybody fucking mad because
I think
of the
I don't. I don't know how much it was spoken or how much it is a collusion against Deshaun, or not Deshaun, but a collusion against Lamar specifically. But I do think there is maybe unspoken, maybe not, a thing with owners saying we're not going to hand out guaranteed contracts like that to anyone.
Yeah, they're like, if we do it again,
happening.
If we do it again for Lamar, we're doing it for every franchise quarterback that
we're now stuck doing that for every quarterback.
For every quarterback that hits the market, and I don't think they want to do that. I agree.
You have
and then eventually it trickles out of quarterbacks and starts, wide receivers and then defensive ends and
And they know it's a slippery slope to their whole being to being fair.
But I think we could see a $250 million contract with well over 100 guaranteed offered his way.
Yeah.
Not a fully guaranteed, but we could see a massive contract, something.
I guess. I mean, it's got to be something that beats Kyler's.
At this point, if you're Lamar, if a team does get kind of close to that, right? If they can at least get above Kyler, which I don't see why a team wouldn't.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're Lamar, man, just maybe take it at this point just to get out of Baltimore too. Like, because you in Baltimore, obviously that's not going well.
You're either making them shit or get off the pot. Baltimore.
Yeah, but or not.
I just think he's really done himself irreparable damage by not having an agent this whole time.
Yeah, I mean, it does seem more and more like that. But we see other, like Roquan just did his own deal. You know, Roquan got the whole fucking thing.
Yeah, he's not trying to negotiate a deal like this, man.
Not like this, yeah.
Yeah, this is the type of deal where you should have an agent.
This is a little different than some of the other guys, right? Like we've seen other dudes do it, but with this deal where you're trying to like reset the market and get fully guaranteed, and not just reset the market, but just completely redo how contracts are done. You probably do need an agent, a guy who can talk to teams, before the tampering period, right? And try to, a guy who can also not just talk to teams before you can, but a guy who can also put out a narrative a lot better for you. Like a guy who can reach out to the press and put out your side of it much better than, And
that's exactly it. Like, love him or hate him, listen to Drew Rosenhaus talk. Okay, you don't have to you don't have to like what he's saying. Just listen to the way he talks and how he
Right,
talks
and how he can spin.
Yeah.
Like,
and there's that's not what football players do.
Right.
They're not built for that. The same way agents aren't built to play the game.
Yeah.
They're different worlds.
So
they're different worlds, and I understand. Like, if you're Lamar Jackson, you believe in yourself that hard, and that's what's gotten you to this point. But you've also got to recognize when you failed and when you're. It's hubris at this point, I think.
Okay. How about some like good news?
Yeah.
With KJ Osborne saving a dude from a burning car, right?
Yeah. Dude, that was awesome.
That was pretty awesome, man. Him and 3 other people. He gave a lot of the credit to his Uber driver, right? If you watch the interview that I sent in the group chat, which I'm sure you did. I'm sure both of you did. You watched it. Oh yeah, right. Watch it front to back because it was finally like a feel good story in the NFL.
Honestly, most of the stuff that people send in there that put in there, I do watch. I didn't catch that one though.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Sure. Yeah. Anyways, great interview with him. Right. Seems like a great dude. But yeah, where he talks about, he was in an Uber with there's 2 other people. It didn't seem like he knew who they were, right? And then the Uber driver, and then they just pull up on this fucking car that's the driver apparently saw the car ahead of them, pull off, and something happened to it. KJ said he was looking down and then just looked up, and there was a car on the side of the road on fire, basically. His driver was like, "Oh shit, what's happening?" And they go, and yeah, he gave a lot of the credit to the Uber driver. He was a really cool dude.
That's awesome.
You got to go listen to the interview. He was very humble about it, and yeah, man, pulled this guy from a burning car.
That's awesome.
Once the other dude realized they didn't know what the fuck was going to happen. The thing was going to blow up, or the car was going to blow up. And apparently the Uber driver is the one who's the first one to go up there and make sure this dude was still breathing and shit, and not freaked out about a car on fire.
I think more relevant is the Bengals owner trying to get out of paying workman's comp claims.
I saw that.
Did he? I didn't see that shit. Really?
So the way the NFL works is when you play an away game, wherever you play, you pay that state's taxes.
Okay.
So places like California hits you up for a ton of fucking money when you come and play.
For sure.
All right, but the bank, if a player gets hurt there playing a game in California, the Bengals owner is trying to get out of having to pay those workman's comp claims, which are he's arguing more lenient as far as their
what a piece of shit.
Yeah. So
you are a goddamn billionaire.
And that's why Carson Palmer said he wouldn't play for that piece of fuck again.
Yeah. So yeah, he's the NFLPA put out a tweet that
really, how are you gonna fuck your team like that too? You're in such a good spot to lure people.
Why are you gonna lure
players to your team?
Of all the players,
yeah, and now, dude, come on, man. You finally just sold the naming rights to your stadium so you could try to pay your quarterback, and now
he's like, dude,
guys, really bad look right before free agency starts.
He's like, guys, it cost a lot to save DeMar Hamlin's life. Okay, it cost us a lot.
Yeah, that's the other. He just watched a dude almost die on his field and wants to.
Yeah. I'm like, this is his response to that situation.
I don't want to pay for that.
Dude,
that's not on me.
Jesus Christ,
that was his heart, not mine.
God damn,
I don't have one.
To think that's
yeah, fuck the Bengals.
Yep.
Yeah, you got a piece of shit on it.
They're a garbage franchise. They always have been.
For real. Hey, you know what, guys? I think we did it.
I think we did.
I think we
made it.
We survived an episode without Tim. So thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to comment, subscribe.
Next week we might even talk about other sports.
I will look into some of them.
Yeah, March Madness is starting soon.
March Madness, it's getting mad.
Yeah, I have paid 0.
I paid 0 attention, but I filled out 1 bracket.